Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zarin Tovim, and Lila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening. No matter where you're at, we hope this finds you well. Uh, Carrie husband, Ken husband. Yes, that is our last name if this is the first time that you've been listening to anything that we're sharing. But we are going to be doing a second portion to what we shared on Saturday because we had so much information. We actually really didn't break down the words of the Todah Rabbah. I mean, we talked about Rabbah a little bit, but we really didn't get into Todah. So Ken's going to take us through the second portion, which will set us up for tomorrow's meditation. If you guys have been seeing information that I've posted on Facebook, and I've also had information on YouTube about that. So please go and take a look at those things. So the meditation will start at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and that would be 11 on Eastern. We are going to gather at 11. We'll start toning the phrase Todah Rabbah at 11, and that will go on for 11 minutes. And we will tone the phrase every 30 seconds of Todah Rabbah for a total of 22 times. There's very significant information. Ken has something else that he will be sharing about later about the timing of Todah Rabbah, and that this will be the first installment of this, but it will not be the last time we do this. And he'll share something with that if we can get to it at the end of this broadcast. So good morning to who we're already seeing. Claire, I'm so happy you're here. And Nicole and Tina and Christina. Hello, ladies. We have some lovely women in the house. I appreciate you guys being here so much. I know it's early, and so I don't expect that we'll have a lot of people today joining us live, but there will be the replay available. So my cat he's making a cameo in the background as well. We have the sun streaming through our window, and it was like too bright light and you couldn't see anything. So he's all wound up this morning.
It's
so
not the dog, it's the cat.
Yeah, one or the other. We got monkeys in our house, and they're actually a dog and a cat. Oh my gosh. I did want to share something with you guys. Hello, Tricia. I did want to share something with you guys regarding our sharings with you. We know that they're long. We know that they, run into the 2-hour segments. And I know for some that's just a little much. But, I was thinking this morning that we've technically all been microwaved, literally and figuratively. I call us a microwave generation. And really, there's many reasons why I say that, but I tie it into the little actual microwave, the microwave oven, because when that was brought into my life, and I remember our first one, all of a sudden, things that would take 30 minutes to heat up took approximately 2 to 5 minutes. And from that point on,
That's too funny.
I can't.
This only happens when we're about to share.
All right.
Every time.
I guess the curtain's down.
Every time.
Oh my gosh.
It's really funny. It's funny, but every time we go into sharing, the spirit starts to stir up the animals. And I mean, every time, if it's happened once, it's happened like 150 times. And so you can see the air, you can feel it moving sometimes. And what needs to be shared is very important, like Carrie was saying, but the animals are very sensitive to it, and they seem to they come right in. They want to jump on us. They want to be in the middle. They want to be in the middle of it, and they do strange things. The dog starts howling, or the cat does this, and our dog is now gone. So we thought we'd have a quiet morning because Jesse was out of town. My son
took the dog with him. That she died.
And now the cat is just totally taking the place of what the dog normally does. So it's just very, very interesting.
Well, and I'm assuming at some point the cat will probably jump up on our
turn
lap.
that, and I'll fix this, people, so we're not in the dark spot, so I can get up.
Oh, okay. So okay. Anyway, Ken's gonna put up the screen again, and we'll see if the cat will leave it alone. Anyway, like I was saying, we are part of the microwave generation. So when we learned that things could be done much quicker, and heating up food in a microwave literally could take 2 to 5 minutes instead of 30 minutes, we began to have a shift where everything needed to be done instantaneously. And if you guys remember, and if you remember when the fax machine came around, that was another thing that made us move much quicker. And now everything is like instant. And so because of that, what ends up happening in this situation is that we expect everything to be that way. And so even with these teachings that we're sharing with you, I know it's difficult to sit through 2 hours. So if you're watching on a replay, the good thing is that on YouTube, down on the very bottom, there's a little gear. If you click on that, you can actually speed up the broadcast to 2 times the amount if you need to. And when I say this, I am pointing all of my fingers back at myself because I am part of that generation. And I know how discouraging it can be to see a 2-hour video. But if you really are interested in the information, you will either chunk it up into portions or you will stick it out. So I'm hoping that you will be able to stay with us this entire time. If you need to break it up in pieces, I get it. But there's no way for us to be able to do this in a short 15-minute video for convenience sake. So It's just not possible. There's too much information to share. As if you could see what happened on Saturday's broadcast of us sharing with the foundation of Todah Rabbah. So with that, I'm turning it over to Ken.
Okay, well, we're going to share here, but yeah, to really extrapolate out, and I was interesting because my whole file is just on this one word is almost 100 pages, and again, that word is part of my grief, part of my grievous walk, is personalized in my explanation of the word. That's how I render clear to find the resolve of what the word is. The resolve is seeking a connection. The noun is seeking an activation to establish it by filling it up. So as I was working on this morning, realizing that there's no possible way that I could share my grief full walk with you unless you're hand in hand walking with me. And that's a difficult path because it's really speaking to me in the intimate language of spirit with Ken, personally with me, so I can see what I need to see to share what I need to share. So I was up early this morning, like 2-ish, and it's normally when I get up to spend time with the spirit to work on this. And the spirit, near the end of it, the spirit just really shared with me a point of view. It says, don't lose them on the straight path of the word. Reveal to them the whirling path of the spirit's tornado.
I love that.
So it's an oxymoron, but yet that's how the spirit speaks to me. I'm more height and breadth, and I go dimensionally that allows me to extrapolate the straight path of the word. But in the straight path of the word, it can be a little laborious in its breakdown. But in that process, in that laborious process, you reveal what the Spirit's sharing with you, because that's the intimate time of spending many, 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 many hours of seeing beyond the face of the Word. You're seeing into the intimate DNA construct of what the Word is, because, again, it's the reflection of depth that's being reflected back to you based on the time that you spend with yourself and the Spirit, because it's within you. So I'm going to start with the basic word Todah Rabbah from the Spirit's perspective. Then we're going to go into more constructs. So so I can set that up first, so you can see what's about to happen in the world is based off of Todah Rabbah. It's based off of those that have accumulated a perspective that if we're going to go into a meditative state of being, that we will be giving as a gift our summational total of what and how we define the word Todah Rabbah in the English gratitude. The frequency of Todah Rabbah is a resonance of very high esteem. It's very high caliber. And if we say it just in English, gratitude, yes, there is many people that have already lived in the meditative state, that they are coming from source potential. They are coming from the inner sanctuary, the dwelling place of spirit, and they are fully acclimated and acquainted with what they are doing. But for those of us that don't, we're best, again, suited before we go into the meditative place of being to know what the word is really saying, so we can connect with it on that level. And so really, by definition, first of all, Todah Rabbah, good morning and thank you, because Todah Rabbah is a full encompassing word. So Boker Tov, I wish you well in your becoming. Haya. And what I mean by that, because Todah Rabbah is all about the union of mother and father holding hands as one. Mother is a right hand, father is a left hand. One has to be comprehended before the other one is gifted. And then they are joined as one sacred heart. And these are the sacred ones that have found the way of the holy path. And whether you spell it WHOOLLY or holy, doesn't really matter, as holy, right? Because they both mean the same thing. It's the completion of knowing what is sacred, to guard what is sacred as you are being sacred. And so this is the fire that in this dimension is a flickering flame, but then it grows into a full raging fire, and then it moves into the plasma energy, ionic energy. And so, boy, oh boy, buddy. I know. So
we'll get through this.
We'll get through
this.
Be
and so will a
patient.
cat.
Yeah.
His name is Tikva, by the way, which is Hebrew for hope.
Right. And this whole message, by the way, this ties in, speaking of hope, good segue, because what I'm sharing you from the spiritual perspective to start this off was, and we need to get into this, is really, this tethers into the Hopi prophecy. Now, I am not really one that studied the Hopi prophecy. It was just brought to me recently, but organically, the Hopi prophecy is the return of the Brotherhood. And my whole dreamscape time of breaking down the dreams and the encounters that I've had, as would you say, has been for the last 7 years since we've been doing this, has it been pretty much streamlined as far as connecting with the bear?
Oh, it's been everything about the bear. I mean, that's really how it first started.
Right. So now, in the innocence of that, so in the innocence of what I'm saying, that what I'm really calling forth is the Brotherhood of the Bear. This is the sacred keepers of the tribe or the clan of the Bear Clan. Now, it's a frequency, so none of us need to rush out and get tattoos of bears. It's simply a frequency and a resonance that is connected with all family. But there's something with this, because we can return one or two ways. We can return, because we return as definition, and this is the deeper comprehension. We are simply defining who we are, and in that definition and in meditation, we release our definition of what is and what is not. So how can we go beyond our definition if we don't know what it is, right? To bring in a higher level, we can only bring in the summational total of who we are. That is it. This is why it's so important to tether to the original language that has an intention for us to become, because this is what the earth is groaning for. Mm-hmm. This is the patience of Mother Earth that is groaning for the return of those that are calibrated to the intention. And I'm saying this purposely, because this is the purpose. Intention are the same word in Hebrew. So in the innocence of that, I am calling forth the Brotherhood of the Bears, those that have gently walked, but yet they were labored at first with the burdensome walk of grief, but then they turn that walk into a stride, and now they gracefully and smoothly have transitioned to redefine in the Hopi. It's all about death is part of the bear's journey, but we are able to come back and have the West define it as death, or we are able to rise beyond that and redefine death to its true measure, which really means what was once chaotic is now calm, and it's made in the expanse of love. Mood. And so we are redefining death and coming back as a brotherhood to unite with the clan to say, Todah Rabbah, thank you for your patience.
And I would like to add that the Hebrew word for brother is ach. It's aleph het. So it's one who was once separated that has now found life and is unified. So just so that we don't get hung up on the physical nature of male and female, we are talking about a frequency of that word. So again, hopefully that helped bring some clarity to that to you guys.
Yeah, we are coming unified in the form of mother and father, brother, sister. We are coming as one. So Carrie, can you share the screen and still keep this going go to the grief to gratitude? And then we can share a little tornado with spirit before we go on the straight path of the word. Again, thank you everyone, Todah Rabbah, for your patience. In an outward manifestation, I speak the word, and I'm practicing because it's a frequency of resonance of who we are. So Todah Rabbah, by full definition, Todah is a full definition of grace, and Rabbah means completed. So in that alone, we say, but we're saying it as gratitude, but it's a harmonious act of being completed, Todah Rabbah. Because grace is really a song of praise that when we come together, we are balanced in harmony in completion's intention. So it is your measure of height and depth, a unique expression of individual experience of weaving together the two pieces of one. From disgrace's grief, one has turned to sojourn the long path of the returned. By filling up, you have no deficiency, as you are completed as grace's definition. You are as intention's answer. This is all the Spirit about the breakdown of what it is. You are Todah Rabbah, the harmonious frequency of mother and father fitted together as one completed song. You have fulfilled the void of the Mother Earth's groans. Todah Rabbah, as she has been patiently waiting, now Father comes. And this is exactly what she's waiting for, is for the manifestation of the youth, sons and daughters. But really, the manifested sons and daughters is still, it's waiting for maturity to, or for immaturity to rise into maturation, that they would represent the journey of the bear. It's a gate. It's a frequency of resonance that we're able to become it. And when that happens, Father then steps into this construct.
Meaning those that represent that frequency.
Meaning those that represent the frequency of two staffs. That they are
completed mother, father.
Completed mother, father. The teachings of mother have rendered clear the resonance of father. One is as a staff that plants to nurture, to grow, to wean, to ripen, to gimel, right? Mm-hmm. And the other one is the staff of the lamed, the teacher that points the way of which they have come.
And I will bring in a Hebrew word here for that. It's kalel. It's kaf lamed lamed. And kaf lamed lamed is grasping a hold of the two staffs of power, mother and father, through instruction in becoming teachers of light and love.
And we're going to go there.
And just to let you know, that's also Superman's name. so a little segue there, because it was intentional, because Kalel also means, that Hebrew word means completed and perfected. So that's a big deal. So I told you the breakdown of the letters of the Kaf Lamed Lamed, but then to understand that word means completion and perfection is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the Lameds are literally a picture of a shepherd's staff.
When you see the journey,
authority.
When we see the journey correctly, you realize that the whole prophecy is the journey of the archer, and this is all Hebrew. Everything that I'm going to be sharing today is the journey of the archer. The journey of the archer is, again, the grievous walk of walking that which we do not know until it's rendered clear. Then we know, and then you're holding the two staffs of mother and father. This is transmutation, and it can only be walked out by the archer piercing himself in the heel. This is language where we get Achilles from, which Achilles means grief. So we pierce ourselves in our heel, which means inculcation's walk of moving in a direction until we get to a point where the archer is now able to shoot the arrow to pierce his own heart. This is circumnavigation, because straight is the way. And if we stand in an orb or a circle and the archer launches the arrow, it comes around and strikes him square in the back. It pierces him from behind. And this is what the Spirit has shown us. Our whole walk is based on the journey of the arrow, or journey of the archer. When we first came into the revelation of the sacred language, when we landed where we are right now, I went for a walk trying to break down, having a spirit encounter to say, Spirit, what exactly are we doing here? And it wasn't as though, it was more or less saying you're to write the book. Mm-hmm. But from that perspective, it was more of an external book, but we realized that it's an inside job. So we are the Sephirot. We are the Sephir, the book in Hebrew. We are the pages. We are the definition. We are scripted. We are redefining through definition to clearly speak what is from the perspective. So we are the book. So I went for a walk, and as I'm walking, this is complete new language to me. And I said, well, that's interesting. So can you at least give me the title of the book? And I mean, within seconds, the Spirit told me, Quivering to the Mark, the Flight of an Arrow. It's the staff and bow of sovereignhood. And I was like, wow. And I remember I kept on saying it over in my head, like, oh my goodness, quivering to the mark, the journey of the arrow, the staff and bow of sovereignhood. And so everything now is about the archer's journey of becoming the archer, because you realize that we first have to fly as the arrow, which is the journey, knowing that at some point we go from the quiver, from the hold, to become the archer when we hit the mark.
And the mark is specifically even connecting that to the Tav, which is a huge letter. It's the final letter of the Hebrew Aramaic language, and it means covenant, mark, sign, signature, fingerprint.
And we're going to get there.
And finished completion.
So
that's a big...
We're going to get there. So can you please take it to Toda so people can see what Toda is in its own definition? Because in its own word, it's the mark. Grief to gratitude, Father.
Yep, got it.
So Thanksgiving, Toda. This is gratitude. And this is where the word starts. So Toda, Thanksgiving.
I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so hopefully people can see it. So give me just a second. It'll help you guys. I want to be able to have everything on the page, but small print does make it hard, especially if you're watching on a cell phone.
No, I'm not going to go into the breakdown yet of this. I'm only speaking the word Todah Rabbah. So I know Carrie's going to see things in here that just she's going to say, this is connected to this. This is connected to this. Yes. But I need to get the word out before we go there. Okay.
So in other words, he's saying, please just listen and be quiet.
Well, share what you need to share, but I already know where the definitions are going to extrapolate out, because again, the grievous walk is knowing that everything is connected to everything when you're in the resonance frequency. And so you can connect this word, Todah Rabbah, to completion. But how do we do that, right? And this is what I need to show. But first of all, we just need to see the simplistic form of what Todah is. We see it as a sacrifice, a praise offering. And remember, as or at is your perspective. What I can tell you from this word, and I'm sure Carrie can add to this, and we'll start right here. It's Tav, Vav, Dalet, Hey.
I'll highlight it so that you can see what we just said.
Now, that first, the prefix on that, Tav Vav, is the mark. What Carrie was saying, that the mark, the sign, the signal, the signet ring, the beacon, the ensign, the mark of in Scripture, when it talks about they are marked, this is the word. So
if we're connecting that to Ezekiel and the writer, I think it's chapter 8, that he talks about going and putting a mark on the forehead. Again, this is something that you guys really need to process and ask the Spirit about, because we've been seeing this for a while. But in the Writer's Incord in Ezekiel 8, and even into the book of Revelation, it says the mark on their forehead, and the word mark is translated as Tav Vav.
Right.
And the reason why it's Tav Vav, it's spelling literally constituent letters, the symbol of the Tav. But it's important to see the Vav is there, because it means one who has been filled up and is connected. And it also, that word, Tav, with the Tav Vav, means exempt from judgment.
Okay, so now thank you very much. Good segues. Now we're going to go into this a little further. So this is adoration. I think the last teaching we ended with adoration, of breaking it down to, it's actually, we already broke down. I try to bring in the English definition from etymology from back in the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th century to really take us back to the intention of the word. And most etymology of the English through Germanic comes from the Hebrew Aramaic influence. So
Absolutely. That's
why I do this. So really what this word is saying, without going into Father's narrative of breaking this down, because this would be a whole, as anyone that's seen some of our stuff, like just the extraction of love turned out to be like a 20-minute video, right? To break down love correctly in the increments of frequency, so we see what each entity is saying in its individual uniqueness. When I say that, I mean each letter.
Right.
It's an entity, a noun or an entity that is connected itself to form a noun that seeks verb activation through us defining it.
Right. And because the language is frequency.
So therefore,
so everything that is living is frequency.
So what I just said was, I'm defining the living word.
Mm-hmm.
I become the living word when I define it by filling it up, by activating it through its intention. It is an influence. Okay. So this dalit, really, this is the mark of revelation. But the thanksgiving is a qualifier that we're to enter. We enter the door within. The mark is within. It's a door within that reveals itself as revelation. That is the praise offering. That is the sacrifice. The sacrifice is the laborious journey of entering within so revelation may be fully revealed as Father's intention. So gratitude of thanksgiving, the mark is drawn out by entering revelation so it may be fully revealed as adoration, the praise offering of love. In the red, I've added these. So the praise offering, the choir of worshipers, really, I'm jumping so we can get to the word basis, but really it means harmony. Literally, really agreement, a chord of sound to fit together. So this is how the Spirit shares with me. So really,
I like that, the means of joining.
Right.
Right.
So go down a little further on the R. The means of joining really means the same. It's the full form of adorn. So the fitting together, worship by definition means the right hand and the left hand are extended upwardly. And you are a formation, again, we're in duality, but when we come together as one, your right hand is a representation of mother, your left hand is a representation of father. As one, both hands are extended, they fit together, right? You are now knit as one. This is the adornment of within.
So then you, as self, standing in the middle of the right and the left, are a representation of the Vav. Right? Because man
you are the
is the number 6. 6 in Hebrew is the Vav. Vav means connect. So the right hand of mother and the left hand of father, you've connected right in the middle as man.
Right.
As Adam, as mankind.
Right.
Connecting both as a living sacrifice of praise and thanksgiving. So hopefully you guys got that.
So this is lofty. Like, again,
very meaty, we know that.
Before we step into, again, we're talking about gratitude. What is gratitude? Gratitude is a gesture outwardly that we gratitude is simply an adornment of grace, or it's an attribute of grace. Sorry, I'm looking at adorn here. Gratitude is an attribute of how much grace is, how much you're filled in grace, because grace equates as completion, perfection, beauty, and we're going to break that down if we have time. It's so difficult sometimes to get all of this out, still maintaining spirit and winding the word. We are fitting together spirit and word right now. We're acting as mother and father that are weaving in and out, looming, right? Woof and waf, left and right together to show the garment of adoration is directly connected to adornment.
So in other words, we're making our wedding garments.
From within.
Exactly.
And so to do that, we have to pull the silk thread. So we're pulling the silk thread through the words and through the scripture to reveal, right, enough material to weave what is necessary.
Which is really, we're weaving our vessel garments of light.
I'm trying to be very specific in what I'm saying so we comprehend. We're late in the hour, and this is very important if we're going to go into a collective meditative state of singularity.
Right.
A sovereign stand of uniqueness comes together as a body of people to represent completion. That's huge. Where we're going right now is an opportunity that I don't think has ever really been done before, especially with what is being asked and what is being shared right now in the lateness of the hour, that mother is groaning for this manifestation to come in the fullness of its intention, that the completed children would represent and call out to Father and say, Bo, come.
Because inside we've connected to the oneness, and so it automatically is calling out to come.
Father is
Spirit and the bride say.
The Spirit of
come.
Father is waiting for the manifestation of within. But only through mother's maturation can we be reared in the influence to then be qualified for the intention. Father.
So that we can become completed beings. Kal-El.
2 staffs.
Exactly. Grasping the power of both.
We stand between them as one. in the measure of completeness. Okay. That's lofty right there. So harmony, Toda, it's a door within. This is an inside job. Now we're going to go to Rabbah. I'm just breaking things down just as basic so we can at least get the word out without going into the line. Now I'm going to read this. This is really abundant showers. This is the latter rain. This is that if enough people gather, this will be the reign of authority, the principalities and powers that will be established in the earth to bring forth the two teachings of one heart. The resonance that calls forth the brotherhood of light's love, that this new epoch would move into the direction of the will of Father, which is connected to Rabbah, Todah Rabbah. Will and wish and grace and gratitude are the same word. So when we say it, you realize that Todah Rabbah, you are wishing the will of completion upon yourself. Are you resonating to its intention is the question. The answer replies as Ani, Kalal, I am, we are completed. It is done. This is where we are.
Hence why we live from that place of gratitude.
We must
grace and gratitude.
If we are gratitude, then we have no other place than to dwell in gratitude. That is our house. That is our temple.
You've become it.
You've comprehended the protocols of approach, that you've become it, and therefore you live as the latter rain. This is the abundant showers that is talking Rabim. But it breaks down to you are fully quadrated as final. You are now the square of the compass. Because Todah is more of the circumnavigation. Rabbah is the square of quadration, of completed triangle. This is the alchemist journey of becoming a built temple.
Exactly.
You are now Yara Shalom.
This is the complete head capstone to tie in Saturday's teaching.
Yes.
The capstone on the pyramid.
You have built the wall of Yara Shalom, because this is all building language. You have to build this. There's no becoming is the same word for Bana. You have to build this. So I'm going to read this really slow, but this is directly connected to Rabbah. Please hear the words in this, because Rabbah means you have risen your head and you have been doubly built as revelation, mother and father. You don't have this. You don't need it. I put it in mine so I can read it.
That's fine. I'm going to take off. I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm going to take that off on the
screen. So this is the meek stand of headship arising, and this is directly connected to what I'm seeing in the Hopi prophecy of the two paths. But there's much hope in the two paths, because I see it a little differently. I mean, no disrespect at all. I'm just seeing it from my perspective. But to raise your head, there's a lofty measure that we raise ourselves beyond our fleshly estate, and we are able to do it in this world right now. So this, Carrie read this before. I'm going to read it really slow, and it's only a paragraph. So please hear the spirit language in this, because this is extrapolation of frequency here. So this is the meek stand of headship arising. It is the expanded form of being fully contained as whole. A conscious state of spiritual awareness that is measured as neutrality's weight. The nothing where everything simply is. A cumulative measure of celestial degrees that is solely based on comprehension of proximity to sovereign source, grandfather, through the journey and protocols of obedience, grandmother, while in time. It is answer's mantle that is rewarded to those who seek to resolve the inward question of who we are and why we are here. It is a communicative expression of experiential knowledge that resonates as sovereignty's voice. A calibrated stand that is seated as reverential awareness. These are the magisterial robes of celestial law that cover as recompenses impenetrable light, an endowment that is worn as adoration to its receiving, a bedecking of the highest order and honor. And upon completion, it is how we express our utmost respect and gratitude to Grandfather Source. As one has become wholly completed, arising as being sovereignty's harmonious intention.
Amen.
Amen. So now let's go down. Can you please share the screen again, and let's share the word Rabbah so people know exactly what this is saying.
Do you know how hard it is for me to not go into the letters?
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here, I'm freaking out going, oh, I just want to share.
I know, but we're only sharing this, and then we're going to jump into, and then you have freedom to share. I mean, I'm not restraining you, but
no, I'm honoring, because there's a lot of information that we're trying to bring forth.
Every word can be defined, and every word that we look at goes into pages and pages.
It does.
We're forensically excavating and unearthing treasures that, like any good excavator, it's like, look at this.
Well, yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this detail right here. Look at this. Oh my! We so appreciate it. We're speaking from our zeal.
Well, I get that picture of an archaeologist that goes on to a dig site, right? And you look at how much dirt they have to remove to find the treasure. And when they find a treasure, I mean, everything just stops and everybody marvels at what's being revealed. But we need to realize that when we're looking at the sacred languages, we're digging out ourselves.
The reward.
So everything that we dig out is revealing another facet of the gem and treasure of who we are. That's why these languages are so important.
The reward is based on the comprehension of the treasure that is excavated
from within.
I don't handle treasure lightly.
No,
I spend time with it, and I touch it, and I put it under my pillow, and I take it when I go, and it goes in everywhere we go. Carrie and I are exchanging treasures. And
we literally talk about this stuff pretty much all day.
So let's look at this word Rabbah, Todah Rabbah. So it means the fourth part as four sides, 7253. And this word means the Rabbah is the risen head that is built with the ayin of knowing. There's your definition, Rabbah. Now, I'm skipping a stone here, but both Carrie and I know that the stone, we're skipping it on a very, very deep well. And so for it to sink down, we can extrapolate much from this. But if we just look at it from what it's showing us on its face value, it's saying that this is abundance, this is great. The first measure of just resh bet, the first measure is greatness. We're not even talking about the full quadration, because there's another measure to this resh bet on 7229. There's another part. That's mother's part is great. Now, in totality, this could be a summation, because really it's saying that this is Captain, Chief, Great Lord, Master, Stout. And then we go down. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to share with people just that the original spelling of Rabbah has a hey on the end of it, but the hey and the ayin have very, very similar sounds. And one reveals, the other establishes purpose.
This is established.
So the ayin, and it is directly connected to vision and sight and purpose. So I'm just letting you guys know, because there's some people that follow Hebrew and understand the Hebrew language, and they're not going to comprehend why we're bringing up Rabbah versus Rabbah.
Right.
But they're very similar in sound. One leads to the other.
The hey is seeking to show the fullness of its intention.
Exactly.
And the ayin is actually the ga'ah. It is back to the garden. Yes. The ayin is the fountain in the garden, the tree in the garden, the sephirot, the pearl. However you want to define that, the Merkabah, that is the knowing of all quadrants, the fourth dimension, before we step into the fifth.
So you can say that it's an all-hearted one. All four chambers.
Absolutely.
Of the heart.
Both chambers of mother and father.
All-hearted or wholehearted.
The Holy of Holies has been entered on both sides. Mother first, father. And then father on both sides. You are resonating with the heartbeat of one cadence. So this word goes down to Rab, great. Where are you? You're already there. Okay, good. Captain, chief. And this again, this is talking about, even for the captain and chief, this is talking about a completed circle, as well as it talks about a square, as it talks about quadration. It still is talking about this, the triangle, the square, and the circle are all really the same format. It's just breaking it down from dimensions. And so this is why the chief would sit in the head of the circle, because he is the Rab. The chief is the risen head that is built. He speaks the wisdom, and he is calibrated, and he's able to direct the tribe in the direction of his vision.
Right. So the Resh being the risen head, Bet being built.
That's the head of the circle.
Right.
That's why it's chief, captain, great lord, master. Okay. Now we can go down to 7227 abundance. And this is again Rabbah. There it again, much, right? Means abound in the 7227. You're on A. Can you go back up a little bit? Exceedingly full, to abound. This is circle language. Elder, multiple, prince, in the process of time. These are all right. These are all connected to much, great, chief. And then we have the archer connected to the vision. So this is the journey of the archer. But to become the archer, you must know the way of the arrow. Right? That's how we learn to hit the mark.
Exactly.
And so now we go down to Rab. So now we go down to shoot. So they're talking about the measure. So now it's even talking about through the idea of projection, right? So now, again, this is outside as it's inside. What we project is usually what we've journeyed.
Which is so fantastic because through the idea of projection, so it starts with the first bet. Bet means build, but it also means inside, right? So then what you're on the inside is then building what's on the outside.
This is how you create a reality.
Exactly.
Todah Rabbah is a realty.
I like that. Realty as real estate.
We're talking dimensions.
As real estate.
Right.
Like slow it down, separate it. Don't.
So when you hear that, and that, again, I'm trying to make sure my words are purpose and pointed in a direction. Real estate is shalom. Shalom.
Right.
Yara Shalom is connected. Jerusalem. Yara Shalom is how it's broken up, but it means the way of the arrow has been straight, and in this is shalom, peace, mind, body, and
estate. Real estate, and it also is the word that means completion.
Exactly.
Completion.
So I'm saying many things from a narrow. I'm walking my broad road, but make no mistake, I'm on the beam. I'm on a narrow beam, and because we have walked it so long, we're trying to broaden the road for others to join. But I never lose sight that I'm walking a narrow beam.
Right.
And so,
well, the narrow path that few find.
So realty is what you're building, and it's a reality. You're building a construct around you that doesn't know. I was going to say two words there, but it no longer has an influence of the world. You've broken free of its influence to find the true influence to the intention. Okay. And we're going to bring that up next, what the intention is. So this is multitude 10,000. And if you go down to the multitude, go down to the first verse.
So again, with what we just said about building on the inside that builds on the outside, it is revealed. So
when we build this realty, my whole projection, like this is why I can fill myself up in grace and have much long suffering and patience for people, because I'm pulling from a reservoir that has been filled. My well has been made deep by entering shallow many times. Right? I have to do this and do this and do this. Inculcation, I pierced my heel so I may journey to the well to frequent it, to know its deeper waters. I'm dipping the bucket down, right? Dalit.
Right.
Which is same as Moshe. He draws himself out from the depth of the well to know how to go and to be the direction. Lamed. It's not the direction points you until you become it. That's how we hold the staff.
And again, what he said with lamed is the Hebrew letter lamed, that is the staff of authority.
So in that measure,
and that is part of the definition, by the way, of the word itself, or in the letter itself. So this isn't conjecture.
You can only be revealed by that which you partner with as an influence. Resh bet is a projection of yourself. It will be a measure and degrees solely based on what you have willingly partnered with, and it will be revealed as the new man. And so these are the whole, again, in this verse, I know what you're looking at, but so I want to just hang on projecting. We take it from an outside project. It's again, as or at it. And so when it's talking about Rabbah, you are projecting something. What are you projecting? You are a file system that then processes the information. And from that vantage point and that perspective of partial or full, completed or not, you're projecting your realty. Your estate of body, mind, and spirit is now projected upon the world. When we go into Todah Rabbah, if we realize that it's completeness, wholeness, oneness, faceted together, mother and father knit as one, we project that reality into the world by the multiple of each individual raindrop that is really fractured from the wholeness of Shemayim, the water.
The waters from above.
We are the waters below that have been divided into many faces, but when we come together, we are one body of water.
Which is the Shemayim.
We are heaven on earth when we come together with the same mindset, with the same frequency of a state.
Shalom.
Shalom.
So
Peace.
we first find it within to manifest it externally and do it micro, macro, collectively.
I'm prognosticating this. This is my reality. Prognostication is connected to neuroplasticity. My mindset is releasing my vision that's within me. I'm releasing my summation into the earth that my intention will be made manifest as reality.
So that's connecting Dr. Joe Dispenza's book that we're going over as well.
And I haven't read it. The spirit.
No, I know you don't.
The spirit just shares with me what I'm to know to share. But this is where we're going, and this is the importance of this. That if we partner with this, we need to know what we're doing. Do you want to share this first? Part of it.
Well,
Rabbah are. These are the compressed doors. These are the fires that are burning as the holy ones. And this is the right hand. And this definition of the highlighted in the blue. By definition, the 10,000 measure, because in scripture we see the 30, 60, 100. But beyond the measure in the fourth dimension, becoming quadrated, is the 1,000-fold measure of mother. After completed, mother is 100, but she leads to the 1,000, that when we're gathered, we stand in the 10,000-fold measure. These are the holy ones.
Well, this is the verse in Deuteronomy 30. This is the one that they monkeyed around with and took Asherah out of.
Right.
The holy ones that come from his right hand.
Right.
They changed it to become fiery law, but it was, which is still appropriate, but they took the word Asherah out of it. So, I mean, that's a whole nother, we've shared on that,
Right.
but
We're not going to go there now.
That's amazing that is this verse with gratitude that we're looking at, and from,
so this word
multiplication of 10,000.
The highlight that she has in the red, that's the morphology of Rabbah. So now it's gone Mar, the bitter walk, because now there's a language in this one word. Mar, that means bitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same word for grief. You're going to think of the Exodus. The water is bitter. They're drinking bitter water. Throw in the branch, it'll turn sweet.
Right.
But they have to know the bitter walk, because that's what produces the intention. And
this goes to the frankincense and myrrh, same words. Myrrh, mar, bitter. Esther's purification.
6 and 6.
And then the sweet is frankincense, Laban.
Yes. So this is the journey of the footman before he becomes the horseman. He must know the walk, and this is how he's able to fly. This is Pegasus's wings. This is because mother is one wing, father is the other wing. If we want to look at that angel morphology, that we are looking to gather the ability to fly beyond where we are right now. It's an outward, but it's an inward. So this measure means the measure of bitter will raise your head, and you will be doubly built as mother and father. You will be completed. This is now temple language, as resonating as clear. You are the Bet Tov built. The next measure given will be the olive as one heart.
And Bet Tov is the second letter and the 22nd letter. So if you guys have been following us for any length of time, you know that that's the 222 right there.
Doubled up, that would be the 444.
Exactly, because of the double bet.
Right.
But there's also a word in here for daughter, bat, which is also another word that means worthy and deserving.
Right.
But the thing I freaked out about on here is right in the middle of this is that everything that we just said, the bitter walk that raises you up, building you twice over so that you can become the daughter who is worthy and deserving as a standard of measurement. Look what's on the outside of the word.
Right.
Death.
That's why I can see that.
That's why I was like, oh my gosh, that's death right there. The chaos.
Yeah. That's why that in the Hopi prophecy that you'll see, and we're going to try to get into it real quickly here, that that it's connected organically, and so it should be that it's time. It's time. Hold on one second.
Well, I was just going to say that's why Mar is in there, because it's the bitterness of the death walk until you raise yourself up and out of it.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is that the grief walk? This is why the title of this file is called Grief to Gratitude. That's why it's in here. We need to redefine what death is. The grief of coming into this construct has been laborious. Take up your cross and walk.
Right.
Carry the burden and become the intention. Where is it going to lead you? To death. But is it the West definition of death, or is the East definition of death? Because if we define it by the West, then we're going to see death from really the grave's position. But if we take it to the East, Adam Kadmon arises as the new man, as Yeshua represented.
So rising up out of death.
So the East isn't necessarily
as the new man.
The East is a perspective of frequency of ingathering, that which you ingested, that which you become. So the measure of death now is from the risen perspective, bringing hope back into the world. It's like you have nothing to fear if you comprehend this.
Right, because then you are the rising of the sun.
You are the rising, and we're going into that.
So this beginning of this is the mouth that speaks light.
Right.
The mouth that speaks light, that cries out, Ren, to you. Because atah means to you. Didn't we share that? Wasn't that on Saturday? We were talking about the atah, you. And this is a summary of the sacred languages, all through the Todah, the journey.
Like I'm saying,
you are the journey that will be revealed.
I'm hoping people are getting this. Like, how can because this word is connected to all, and so you are the journey of becoming, and it's directly connected to. But you have to go through. So if you're feeling something right now, have hope. It's for a purpose and a reason. That especially where we are right now in Mitzrayim, Egypt, which means the squeeze of the womb, it will push you out of the matrix, so you will comprehend rakam, the same word, love and compassion.
And rakam means matrix, and love and compassion.
Love and compassion is connected to grace, favor, blessing, well wish, gratitude. It has an intention, and if you connect with that, then you're going to see this measure presented to you, that you are a holy one, and you've been sanctified, made ceremonial clean for the intention of death. But it won't be what we think in the end. These are the revealed anointed ones that will be carrying the mantle of Yeshua, the Christ anointing, that will be representing the world, be walking as the staffs in the world between mother and father, teaching those in the world that have a wanting and a willingness to learn. They will be releasing light's teaching.
They will be speaking of the light.
We're almost there. We're almost in that.
And that's also the gematria of fruit.
Absolutely. Should be.
The fruit of one.
So let's look at the word then down below this. We need to break this down for completeness. Having no deficiency. Perfect. We've already broken down that gratitude means perfect, to return kindness.
Right.
So it's perfect in kind or quality, finished, ended, concluded, filled up, fulfill, a task to fill. And then it goes to, again, now completeness is connected to.
Right, because you got the pele. Okay. Yeah.
So now it, from the pi root is connected to a multitude, much wealth. This is raba. Completeness. So now we have Todah Rabbah. So now we have the harmonious act of completeness is Todah Rabbah. I speak from my frequency of being completely filled up. It is the wealth. It is beyond number. It is much. You are now made weighty in the kavod and the glory of mercy's extended grace. In the process of time, you have produced the measure of intention through influence's gentle touch. The Ruach has led you correctly. Well done, son. Well done, daughter. The earth is moaning. Mother is groaning for the manifestation of this calling, that we would step forth. And in the pang of our heart, we cry out, Todah Rabbah, Father, we are completed and we are ready to encounter you for the next stage of this journey.
So that the manifested sons and daughters can go forth in their power.
That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening.
So incredible.
It is. And again, we're only touching. Man. So let's go down. So here's another tornado from the Spirit, which gave me this morning. I'm going to read this really slow. This is a lot. And if I only get through this, so be it. I will, if there's a wanting, I will share my notes from a platform of sharing. I'm teaching sometimes has a way of, but it is a word, but I think it's connected to sharing, and generosity is connected to gratitude. So I would share this, but it's many pages, and it's only for people that want to go into a place that will be completely revealing, because revelation will reveal every fiber of your being. So grief to gratitude.
But do you want to just read it, and then I'll just take it off the screen so people can hear you?
Sure,
I'd rather just have them hear the frequency than to get
I'm going to read this
tripped up on words.
Yeah, I'm going to read this slow. I'm hoping people are enjoying this and feeling the frequency of the excitement of where we're going, because something is about to happen between September 22nd and October 22nd. We might do a preliminary run of Todah Rabbah.
Well, we're doing that tomorrow. We're doing that tomorrow.
If we set the tone correctly, it's really interesting. We're going through the scales between September 22nd and October 22nd is deliberation.
Which is so amazing that it's the 22nd and the 22nd, the two paths of mother and father, Hebrew, Aramaic, and that is deliberation.
So now people would qualify that as Libra. That's the month of Libra on an outside. But again, I'm all 12 of the zodiac.
Yes. We all are.
In the cycle of one love cycle of a year, I have the ability to navigate all of them if I see them correctly, because I choose in my realty to be all of them.
Well, that's actually an expression of the kuf.
It is fully koofed, black and white.
Fully koofed. I love that we've cliched that. Koof it.
Koof it. So
become it.
So this
is
a reality that can become your realty. You're a state of mind, body, and spirit, and then you project this, working through all fractures, because mother and father are made whole. There's no longer fracture there. They speak from wholeness and wellness. Wellness is completion. Heal. If my people call out to Todah Rabbah, if they call out, I will fully restore them as whole. That's healed. That's what we're waiting for. So between September 22nd and October 22nd, we're going into Libra, which means the scales. So we're going into yourself to see where you are and how you are calibrated, right? To see if you're biased or non-biased. So this is a language the Spirit gave me of what we're about to go into. And I'm going to speak this. So grief through gratitude, judgment through the eyes of self-adjudication. In my reflection, I see guilt's weight has rendered innocence verdict. This is how I see. I hope your reflection sees as well. Purposely speaking these words, as this is how we come to be a welcomed one. We need to see wellness from innocence verdict. When we do that, we balance the scales and we are seeing as well done. This is the purpose of the word well. So I hope you see this as well. The magisterial weight of knowing gratitude's full measure is as being completed. The knowing places you in center's seat as being fully balanced as light's sovereign stand. From this position, all can be seen. As the Supreme Court is graciously holy in its merciful turnings. There's a picture going on here.
And we're talking about the spiritual Supreme Court, not the earthly one.
We're talking about you resonating to the Supreme Court of Resonance's estate. You are now self-adjudicated as seating in supremacy's seat. As Moshe was, as Yeshua was, you also are qualified too.
Absolutely.
So let me start again. The magisterial weight of knowing gratitude's full measure is being as completed. The knowing places you in center's seat as being fully balanced as light's sovereign stand. From this position, all can be seen. Think of a circle. As the Supreme Court is graciously holy in its merciful turning. It overturns what is necessary.
Shuv.
As the garden, we fully encompass as the completed sovereign answer. We know gratitude as holy's attributes, as all's loving kindness. As this is the cure, good medicine is well done. We are a testimonial witness adjudicating as good and evil affliction. Innocence and or guilt is based on perspective, as we are a witness as the testimony. Delivering both sides as equal can only be done by the tall standing order of the Supreme Court. Supremacy within allows you to overstand and rule correctly, overturning anything that has been projected upon you. You now stand in the governance seat of self-awareness as situation aware from all degrees. You are now the light that is robed in the black. You are now magisterial, and you're able to now govern self. Therefore, you're qualified to govern another. You are two staff and one heart.
One heart, so being wholehearted,
right?
No longer divided.
So we come together with perspective as a witness and a testimony. Delivering both sides as equal can only be done by the tall standing order of the Supreme Court. Much gratitude in non-biased deliberation of well weighing. Deliberation by definition is defined as well weighed or weighed well. Going back to gratitude and grace, wholeness, perfection as one, deliberating is done within, as it's an inside job. How you deliberate is solely up to you, of what you have defined to be what is and what is not. Where are you on your walk? What is your summation? No shame, no guilt.
Mm-mm.
Because if I'm sharing this, then you should be saying, my verdict is innocent.
Exactly. And I think that's why, even in the English narrative, that I no longer call you servant, I call you friend. But even before that, it was a job well done, my good and faithful servant. But that word servant means that which you have done by your work. It doesn't mean that you're a lesser, because it's abed. It's
Right.
the eyes that see the inward journey, that have gone through the door and have become one who serves. It's completely different than when you look at that. So a job well done, good and faithful servant, the one who sees the inside journey, goes through the door of the inward man and serves. I no longer call you servant, but I call you friend.
Yes. And now friend is the same word for lover in Hebrew. It leads to David, the beloved. And so, yes, we're speaking many levels. I just saw.
As well as adversarial component, adversarial friend.
So let me break this down.
Amazing.
The basic walk of the archer. If we just start from the innocence of a starting point, no one has even touched you. You've just come in and you've just been skinned, because that's what the West means. Someone has just put a skin on you. You are once light, all-knowing. You had your memory wiped, and now you're put into a form that is now encased with skin.
So in other words, you're birthed into the matrix.
West, Rakam.
Rakam.
It means the womb in the matrix, and also means love and compassion. The exact same vowel point, exact same word.
So in other words, we are being birthed into the matrix to be that has love and compassion.
If you can see it correctly, then you're going to realize much gratitude, much grace, mercy in your own journey of becoming. Don't worry about what another is doing. Be concerned about what you are becoming, because this is Hayah. Revelation begets revelation. This is the vision that creates the Vav, the intention that establishes Father in this matrix while still in time. Yotevave. So really, from the gentleness of transparency, and from the gentleness of purity and innocence, really, maleficent is simply a measure of disgrace that is seeking grace. It is simply a distance point, because you have to know that which you're becoming through the experiential knowledge of that which you're distanced from. So grace has to be filled up with the journey of disgrace, and it is simply, and it's innocent, it's from east to west.
Right. So you come in the west of not knowing.
Shame, guilt. But again, how you fill up those words is how you fill them up.
Right. So we're distanced from grace, and the journey is to become full of grace, going to the east.
No different than disqualification versus qualification.
Right.
It's all a process of rendering clear what is necessary to define the journey.
Right.
So therefore you speak as it, the pei, tav, that's the fight, the chiro, the Christ anointing, is you're speaking the laborious journey of the walk through the definition of its becoming.
So when you go from west to east, in that verse that we just saw, you speak forth light because you become light.
Absolutely. How else can you become light?
Because that's where the sun rises.
Without processing light's incremental journey of completion. It's a full measure that can only be incrementally really comprehended. We cannot, that's why it's a mystery, and that's why it seems like it's dark. But the reason it's dark is because we're ill-equipped. We are still a lesser light, and as we journey in inclination, we're shedding light on the shadow that's revealing itself. It once was dark, but now it's just a shadow and a mist.
So that is why we are in the times of revelation, the time of the revealing.
All the mysteries are being revealed.
Exactly. The mysteries are being revealed.
So from influence of grace affliction, of ill will, right, to the intention of gratitude's resolve, of goodness and favor, we find well's will. There's a lot in that, just that one little caption, right? Because grief's affliction is really ill will. And all that means is that this is ill and it's seeking well. And so maleficent really just means ill wishing. At what point do we start speaking as well wishing? When we comprehend that, and you're always speaking from the position of well wishing, you know that you are Todah Rabbah. You are much.
You've been expanded grace and gratitude.
You are harmoniously completed, and from your expanse you speak.
The mouth speaks forth light, love.
Todah Rabbah.
Todah Rabbah.
Todah Rabbah. So this is the knowing of good through the adversarial flexion, evil. You now know. When we know this, right, we are fully returned as standing between sovereignty's two staffs. This is part of the Hopi vision.
Father.
You're realizing that the affliction and the rearing has produced the light's intention. And from that, you can then express it gracefully, because that's part of Todah Rabbah, gently and in kindness.
Noel, by the way, we're all in process still.
We are.
The fact that you see it is the vision. That's the whole reason why Ken and I are sharing these things, is to cast forth the vision, which is the yod, so that the kaf, the hand, can grasp a hold of the vision, to become it, to then grasp a hold of the staff of authority. It's all the process of maturation.
So again, I'm rendering down scriptures, and I want to speak this part before I go into explaining what it is. And I'm going to speak this as this, because this is how I believe that this is how I'm going to meditate. How you meditate is how you meditate on tomorrow. But prepare ourselves for September 22nd to October 22nd. We must be in, well, not, I know for us, when I say must, I know where we live. So I'm not broadcasting that. I'm not projecting that to anybody. I'm just saying that my heart stance and Carrie's heart stance, that we will be deliberating in that time to find balance for a month, to steward as a sacred offering to Father, that we can offer up our sacrifice as the praise offering.
Well, and I think that it's amazing that our Crestone gathering at the beginning of October is during the time of deliberation.
And I will be sharing this fuller so we can break it down. We're a little bit more personal. I'll be breaking down. We can go into this and we can let the room say, well, what do you mean? And I'll bring up the notes on the big screen. We can go through this. But this is gratitude. So as gratitude, we present ourselves as the praise offering. As humility, we come. As gentleness, we stand. As kindness, we speak. As grace, we sing aloud. As a witness, we testify. As completion's answer. As peace, I'm centered as one heart. Todah Rabbah Ami, Todah Rabbah Abi, great-grandfather and great-grandmother. I love you much. I love you, Rabbah. Todah. Thank you for the opportunity to complete the journey in the cycle of time. Thank you for the footman's path. Thank you for the opportunity, for the horseman's opportunity to move beyond.
To run.
I thank you for the bear. I thank you for the visions that I've encountered, that we're able to call forth the bear clan to redefine death, that we will be established in the measure of its intention. So I thank you, Father Todah Rabbah, and I thank you, Mother Todah Rabbah. You have been patient with us in our becoming. And I thank you for the opportunity to guard the sacred fire, to become the sacred fire. Thank you for stewarding. And I thank you for my brothers and sisters that have guarded the sacred fire, and they've been patiently waiting for the return of the Brotherhood, that have had to go out into the world. It's all been purpose. One has guarded and protected sacred fire. The other one had to go into the world to wander through it, to come back as the expression of experience.
It's the prodigal son.
It is. And so now what's happening is, now it's the gathering of the clan to say, I've come back and I want to come home. I wandered much, and now I come back, and I say much gratitude for servicing and holding true to that which is established, the sacred fire. I now come back in the measure of my journey, and I say Todah Rabbah.
Yeah, and I come back with the treasure of my experiences.
I can now redefine death, and it is not what we think.
That was beautiful. I know there's a lot there.
Can you go back into the page and let's just show something real quick? Did you want to share something?
Yeah, well, and I'd love to be able to bring forth that New Testament scripture too. That was so freaking amazing. And I know we need to show the picture.
I'm going to set you up right now for it.
Okay.
So can you bring in...
That'll give me a chance to get back.
Yeah.
So I'm not so wrecked. That's what Spirit does to me, is I get wrecked.
May you all walk well. We're stepping into an amazing time right now. So my heart is I have hope for mankind. I have hope for the brothers that have been in a laborious journey of becoming. I know much pain, much suffering, but it's all been purposed. There's an intention, and I hope that we can get to it. I don't know if we're going to have time, but I will show you the purpose of the intention through word definition so we can express it in spirit. But make no mistake, it's all been purpose. It's the way of the arrow. It's the way of the archer. This is how we become. And it will be made clear soon enough. So
wow.
I share in part. I share from partial. I share because I'm not whole yet either. So I only share from a limited perspective in hopes that you can gather your piece as necessary. Whatever doesn't make sense, discard it. It's okay. It will come when you need it to come. I'm just sharing. So
Rachel, you can always start this over and listen to the beginning, just to let you know. Thank you for joining us. And David, it's good to see you here, friend.
So can you go into the grief and gratitude file real quick for me?
Yeah.
And just go down to page 5. You should be right there.
Man, that just wrecked me.
I release that as prognostication. I release that as a reality. That's what, if I have whatever authority is within me, I release that frequency that
Okay.
that in that measure we come. So right there, right to liberation, right there. Ooh.
Actually, that's actually pretty amazing, because I just saw something there about moving slow.
So exactly, this is why I'm making a point, right?
I know exactly actually where you're going with that.
So this is why this is so real to us, is because I'm led by dreams. The word has been held up for me as far as reading. Yes, I've been with word, but my world lives in dreams and deciphering dreams.
Dreams and visions.
And that's what I do. My heart is for the old ways.
Yeah.
My heart is from
restoring the path of antiquity.
Right. It's from the ancient path. And so I know that that's where I'm from, and that's what I do. But we've lost sight of that, and that's why I can connect with my Native American brothers and sisters, that they have so stewarded that language, that frequency of harmony, of earth and man on earth for ascension's purpose.
Right.
And they live there. I mean, not all, but yet
those who have held to the ancient paths have.
Right. And so there's a connection there, and there will be a return. So deliberation, we see the active weighing and examining, but this is weigh well. This is why consult yourself, right? This is literally weigh well. This is the definition of the word. Consider carefully what you're going to step into. Do not go into the sacred place without knowing what about you're to step into. There's a protocol approach when you come into the presence of Mother and Father. My heart in releasing this is that we would resonate to the frequency of intention.
Which this is exactly connected to the last stage of the purification, because sacred, what you just said, is kadosh.
Yes.
Kuf, compressing light in the circle of time by going through the door of the inward man and walking through the fire.
Yes.
Because the fire of purification is what sets you apart and makes you sanctified and holy.
Yes.
And sacred.
That's why even gratitude, part of its root is connected to weight.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a weight is connected to Todah Rabbah. You don't step into completion, partial. This is the same language of garments going like, how did you come here? You're wearing the wrong garments. That's that parable.
Right.
You don't come into the sanctuary of ceremonial clean and you're still really by definition unclean.
You're still common.
Right. This is the painstaking process of purging thoughts that are intrusive, influences that come in to distort and pervert. We've already matured beyond that, and we steward that by living in the exhausting place of guarding our thoughts, therefore producing one pure heart.
So this is when we get rid of the subconscious and we become fully conscious, so that all the thoughts that are coming through are not underneath. They are fully aware.
From this reality,
which is Christ's anointing.
Right. From this reality, we work in the subconscious, which is under consciousness, to see if consciousness can prevail.
Right. Because that dividing wall that is separated in that wall is coming down.
That by definition, what I just said was, and what we're alluding to, that by definition of biblical terms is Israel to Yara Shalom.
And that's also coming from the wall.
Prevailing,
right?
You rest
that
your
wall
head.
Of division is coming.
And I know part of the whole prophecy is they
amazing.
don't know what the wall is. They try to define it. So the chief doesn't share anything, but I can tell you from our perspective is the Resh Rabbah is resting on the wall in anticipation of capstones placing. The head is already built the wall, stone upon stone. Yara Shalom is a measure of light that has been built by the walk of the way of the footman's traveling to know the way of peace. This is now built as a royal estate, a royal abode that is adorned with finalities capping. That's the headstone. So deliberation, the act of weighing, the act of, and then now it actually invites definition. It means totally, hence completely. So there in definition, we have the word. And now it's saying, from deliberation, it says, see Libra. Let's go to Libra and see what Libra is saying.
Libra, a pair of scales.
A pair of scales, the season of deliberation, balance. Yeah. Harmonious is the same word for balance. Todah is the same word for grace and wellness, means you are fully balanced. This is why the words are so expansive. Mother's width produces father's depth. The deep language is like we live in the peripherals, but when we go back to the place of etymology, we can find intentions, influence to realign origins, manifested presence on earth. So now we have down to the bottom, totally, hence completely by definition. That's the D of deliberation. So now we have D, completely. Now let's go Libra. So completely to the foundation of a balance, pair of scales.
Well, this is interesting.
It also means the clause. No, that's in parentheses.
Well, that goes to your dream.
It does, and that's what the dream of the bear.
The bear with the unnatural.
Can you share that? Do you have the picture up of Jesse's rendering of my dream? We're going to share this with the audience so they can see what I'm talking about. So this is the vision I had. I walked into a room, standing up. I went into a vision, and this is what I saw. And I've already shared this. So
hopefully you guys are seeing that. Let me just pop out real quick just to make sure that you guys are seeing it, because sometimes, nope, you aren't. So hold on. I need to go back in. it was showing the.
This is really
There we
important. We
go.
kind of went a little not sideways. This is spirit. This is all spirit here. So this is the vision that was shown back in 2007 or 8, around there. It was actually right in 2007. And there's an individual behind me. So if you've already heard this, thank you for your patience in hearing it. For those that haven't seen it, because this is directly connected to the bear is the gate. We have been downstream. We have been in the sea of humanity. And for those that return, this is what they're returning to. This is now the manifestation of the completion of Mother and Father standing as one heart. And this is the mystery solved of who we are as the completed tree in the garden, because we are the garden. We are the garden. It's within. So from the sea of humanity, we return back to source of origin, back to one river, the Pishon, back to the first and one river. And this means the mouth that speaks. The Pishon is the mouth that speaks, as flowing fire and as living water. The Pishon in risen state. Mm-hmm. And so now the fish in the vision, that there are those in the vision that the bear was grasping at the fish and was taking all the shallow fish and was throwing them on the rocks that were hot and bare. And there the fish were gasping for air. No ruach, no depth. But the ones that went under into the depth of the stream, they were able to bypass the bear, and she is the gate. She is the bear of death. But when you pass her, you become as her, taking the sting out of death in the Hopi, that this is now, you are as what she is. Now you're representing, redefining her while still in life, or at least the definition of what life is, Hava. So,
which you would know is English as Eve.
So this is now entering the mouth of the stream, back to the intention that, because the bear is really teaching us how to become pristine. She's saying this is how you wash in preparation to become the mouth that speaks, right? By going into the heart, you go up the spiral staircase, and now you become, right, the fountain again. This is the Yod, Rabbah. That is this whole picture.
Ayin.
Or the Ayin, sorry. This is the Ayin. It's still the Yod too. It's the vision.
Right.
But this is the Ayin, which means the Ga'ah, which means back to the garden. And this is now the fountain of life, the tree of life. And this whole dream is based off of Niagara Falls, which means the way of thunder. So this is the thunderous voice that would speak the way of lightning. This is now a whole metaphoric language. And so the journey of the bear in the vision was, her claws were unnaturally long, right? And it talks about the law of return, that she will be scooping out those that are not formed to the law of return. We talked about the Tov.
Oh my gosh, the law of return. That's Aliyah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
The law of return requires a commitment to becoming. This is the protocol of approach. The law of return. If you are shallow, then your frequency does not resonate. Your inside garment does not match the marriage supper's intention.
Right. And so Aliyah, the return back to the land, is not a natural migration in the external world.
It's a reality. It's a state of being.
On the inside, that is a part of the ascension process, where power is given to you on the inside.
You don't know.
You ascend and you're revealed as those who have made Aliyah.
You don't know. You don't need to go Yes. You don't need to go anywhere to look for the Christ anointing other than within. He's not in the desert.
No.
He's not in someone's home.
No.
He's not anywhere else but within you, saying, enter within, and the revealing will occur if you have the courageous heart to become.
Exactly.
If you have a willingness to go into the deep waters, you will bypass death's door and you will become as the bear. This is the bear clan that has redefined death and will return as the law of return.
Oh my gosh. Totally. Totally. Aliyah, those who see, who have the staff of authority, that have those who see, that have the staff of authority, that have the power on the inside, that are then revealed.
Aliyah is also the same word for the Most High, Elyon.
Right.
It means supreme.
Supreme. So the supreme being.
The Supreme Court has self-adjudicated to say, Aliyah, I have returned as the answer.
As the ascended, the highest, as a master.
Teshuvah, as if it never happened again.
Returning.
Adam Kadmon, back to the place of antiquity before there was even time.
In the risen state.
In the risen state.
No longer in time, but out of time.
Todah Rabbah, I am completed. As harmonious, I am one.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Now, that was just a little spirit journey where with the picture saying, the panther is that of the mysterious. It's not a spooky thing. That's
No.
Father waiting behind the veil as the Black Panther. The spots have been removed, but make no mistake, he is brilliantly white. But he is a mystery covered until resolved. Until you know the answer, the panther won't answer. Because we are the answer.
Because we have to become frequency. That's why when you were saying about Father stepping in, like those who were going to be in that frequency.
Ooh, feeling it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mother Bear, Father Panther.
Mother Bear, Father Panther.
Together they make Pegasus.
They make Pegasus.
Which is truth.
Truth.
And that's the signet rings of Mother and Father right there.
That's the expanse of Mother and Father.
The expanse right there at the place of the heart.
This is the war horse that has gone within to find the peaceful way.
That has taken flight.
He has taken all the rage, right? He's processed it and purified it. And he has realized the way of war is within. It's not an outward manifestation. He has rendered clear the journey of grief, and he has found gratitude. And with that, he has taken flight with great eagle. That's what it is. Those are the eagle's wings. This is now that plateau. This is now the level place where the horse is called the plateau. And that is the level place where you are in liberation, deliberation of self-adjudication. You are self-adjudicated. And you would not be there unless you have fully rendered it clear as innocent.
Exactly.
No guilt, no shame.
During the time of deliberation.
You are the summation of your journey. You are the mystery resolved. You are the question. You are the answer. This is the riddle. The question is the answer.
So,
who are you?
Exactly.
And that roots down to here's a little side note. When Jacob wrestled the angel, he said, "Who are you? Tell me your name." And the angel said, "Ma." Not who. What? Memhe. I am the mother's revelation. I am the mother revealed. Ma, who are you? You should really ask, what are you?
Right. Right.
That's a little side note. We're not going to go there. But so there's the vision. Now let's go. Now we're talking about Libra. Can you go back to that page and share Libra? Because we need to get to the scales, and I want you to share your verse.
All right. if people can stick with us for another,
if they can't, they can,
because we've already been sharing for an hour and a half.
Well, we're going to get we're not going to even get into the files. That's why the Spirit said, take him on the tornado and don't take him on the straight path of the word. But hopefully you're getting something from this. I'm not speaking from conjecture. I'm trying to speak from my summation to share, because the word gets too clunky and people say, I don't understand the lamed to this, to that, to this. But I'm taking you to a place and it's all connected, and you're just going to have to believe me or not believe me. And I can show you the construct that has revealed its revelation. So between October, now this is the 22nd, they said this the 23rd, but I just copied this over, but it's really the 22nd to October 23rd. It's balance is harmony is the key word for the sign of Libra. So Libra means balance and harmony. And so we're going into Todah Rabbah, that means harmony completed. We're going in between the window of 22 days, or the window of 22. 22 mother, 22 father. We stand in the middle as one. 122 and 122 is the journey of the 144.
Exactly.
Okay. So now let's go down to the picture. This is the Hopi prophecy. The bear claws are connected to the archer. This is the archer's journey. And you see.
Hold on, I'm just making it a little bit bigger. It's going to probably be a little fuzzy, but it's such a small picture.
You can find it. I'm just connecting it because this is what the Spirit's showing me now to connect it. And it's probably, this is where we are in the timeline. This needs to be connected. But this has been our whole journey, is the bear claws goes right to the man in their picture. This is the walk. This is the archer that has pierced his heel. It's the foot. It's inculcation upon inculcation of knowing how to journey to become. And then I'm not going to go into the whole prophecy of how they break it down. I'm just showing you the connection of Libra is you have to know how to deliberate yourself to find freedom's resolve. That's based on the walk and is connected to the man. And that is the archer. And the sun is full quadration, Rabbah.
Completed, wholehearted.
We've already said what it is. So Todah Rabbah is completed as harmony as one measure completed, filled up.
Exactly.
Okay? So it's very, very much connected. Then we can go down a little further past this picture. So the archer pierces.
Oops, hell.
Oh, the heel. That should be the heel. Sorry, that's.
Well, that's okay because hell is the place where you ask questions. Right. Sheol. So it pierces the place where you're asking questions.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So maybe it's a Freudian slip where it's and you pierce hell because hell means it's where Sheol is where you inquire. This is where you ask questions.
The place of inquiry.
So I didn't look at when I was writing, but so yes, in Sheol, that's the walk of the footman's journey where Achilles' grief pierce your heel so you walk again. I know I'm speaking this in again and again, but before you pierce your heart, you must know the way of the heel.
Yeah.
So by definition, the dark road of death is the definition is represented by the claws of the bear. Now, how long have we been on this definition, or I have been on seeking death? Not for the sake, since I think we have a very good friend that asked me the question a while ago. I'll even say his name, Zarin. He was one of the first people that really connected with us, and he asked these questions. I said, because you ask, I'm able to reveal. And he asked some really, really good questions. Thank you, Zarin, for your heart. You're a gentleman. Your wife. You're a beautiful family. I'm not going to release her name just in case. I don't want to encroach. And so if I've encroached upon you, please forgive me. I didn't mean to. But I don't want them to connect it to know who you are. So I'll just say your first name. But the question it led to the question of death. And I said, wow, this is amazing because this is where I've been for the last couple of years. And redefining death is the journey of the bear. And the vision from 2008 is equated as redefining death. And now the Hope Week prophecy is coming in, showing me that it's all connected, that we come back as the East as fully redefined, rising beyond death by redefining it. And so it's all there. So for that, Todah Rabbah, Zarin, for asking questions, because we're not really able to share unless a question is asked.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Todah Rabbah.
So death redefined, death is but chaos expanded as calm, a completed mother who is graciously resolved as love's peaceful sign. This is frequency. And now we have this verse right here, and then I want Kara to go into verse. This is bear is in 6, and it means this is the expansion of Dob. Bear is Dalet Bet, which means a door entered and a door built. Really. You enter one door of your heart and you will build. This is where bear is from. This is the root of bear, and it means to move gently and glide over one occurrence.
I think it's interesting that normally when you see the word bear, like in other times, it would be Dalet Bet. The second bet isn't there. Yeah. Because that second bet is the hidden part of the inside that you were building. You have to go through the first process of the mother bear gate to go into the deeper water.
Right. That's exactly
the picture that you just shared.
That's the picture. Right. The picture is that the bear has to walk in the cumbersome walk of the bear. You have to fit the skin. And so you're going to walk because it's all based on the law of return.
Right.
The law is the claws that are going to gouge you at first. Then you're going to realize, oh my goodness, there's a resonance of intention here. I just can't see it. Mm-hmm. You cannot see beyond a choice you do not know until you venture into the experience to have it revealed.
Right. Exactly.
That's revelation.
And that's also the walk of faith, right? Because you're moving forward. You don't know what is going to be revealed to you in your journey, but you're stepping out in faith as faith.
So you just define south. If we walk in, if the bear claws are given in the west, because that's when you're naked, blind, and you're gathering what is necessary to walk correctly, west. You just define south, which is the correct way to go. And it
the right-hand path.
It means faithful, righteous, right, mother completed.
Right.
When she comprehends that frequency, she's now shown the way east of Adam Kadmon to arise as the risen man, to be fully redefined as Aliyah, Elyon. The return is the answer.
In establishing the ancient paths.
The ancient paths.
That are then revealed in the east as the risen sun.
Restoring the intention of why the earth is here and why we're on it, no longer influenced by the world and what it has done to pollute it, to pervert it, and contaminate it. We render it clear to put it back on its right path, that we restore the ancient ways back to the ancient traditions of becoming completed beings of intention.
So this is the restoration of all things.
Whole, completed, wellness, fully as one. Kal-El. In one lifespan, you are able to equate yourself in the measure of love's frequency. That is the journey. You are now in the frequency of love. because you resonate to its journey of intention.
Which is truth.
That's true.
That's Pegasus.
So let's look at this verse really quick. That here it is. For my beloved flowing gently through the lips. But if we see this is now all about the bear. And so below, you'll see I took the color coded it. The beloved is the balance as the bear, speaking the language of dreams and visions. Now, I know that we see this, that Dove has now got the beloved has light on front of it.
Yeah.
So now this is the light, the teachings. This is the first staff that points you in the way of love. It will teach you to become Yerushalayim. This will teach you how to become the light fully restored as flowing. So this raises you to become the door of expanse. This is now we're into to flow. This is really the morphing of bear, but now you've become the door. You're the gate expanded as mother and father. You are built as mother and built as father. You are now, this is actually means the mouth or the lip or
the edge.
The edge, right?
But it's also Shin Tav with the pei in the middle. It's a foundation of the mouth that speaks, and the fact that it's in the middle of that word for foundation, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Well, remember, that's what this is.
The pei tav is the same root for the chi ro.
Right.
The 22nd letter, tav.
For the Christ
and the
anointing.
14th is the pei, and that's in the Greek, and it means the pei tav is the mouth that speaks as love. That is the Christ anointing.
So these have the foundation that's established through fire, and in their heart, because pei is in the center of that, they are speaking from out of their heart as the Christ anointing, the Chiro, with power. They give it through the work and deed of their hands.
Now this last
and their mouth that speaks it.
Absolutely.
So their actions and their words and deeds match.
Right. Now this absolutely. Now this last word, balanced. It means dreams and visions, but also means to be asleep and die. So you're in the real world beyond in really defining what death is by defining it in this reality as dreams and visions.
So this is the dream world that we then come out of to the real world.
To the real world. But we
wake up, wake, oh sleeper from our slumber.
Yes.
Because we have tied that into that Abraham was put into a deep sleep or a trance, but it never showed that after that time, because it's all inward, that he was ever awakened from that.
Right. So let's go down a little further to tie this in, and you can share that, and we're probably going to end with that. But let's go. So Dobi, now we have the door. Now we have the bet built as one. This is the strength. This is rest. This is now shalom, right? The estate, mind, will, and emotion that is connected into the quiet place. This is the strong man. One occurrence. According to your days, so will your leisurely walk be.
There's so much.
Right. I know we can't go there.
I know.
This is a teaching.
It's so hard
because
I look at all these words and I go, ah.
So let's look at the Hebrew for claw and nail. So it's the tav pei, choosing to speak as mother and father. These are baby steps that I was sharing with even again these good people, Zarin and his wife the other day. But they're going, to learn this language, to walk or to run as the horseman, we have to be patient with ourselves in the baby steps. And what we were even, right, our vision, when we were first stepped into this, we were told that you're going where you've never been before. And it's going to be much long suffering and you're going to have to take baby steps.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I should go into deep depth about
choice,
that,
though, will lead you to the small, quick steps. But it's then this is from the pei is now defining what the claw is. And so this definition leads to the little bird. Back to the Hopi prophecy. The little bird told me. And if you roll down this really quick, you're going to see that it leads to, we're only going to fly through this in real quick. So it means to skip about.
Pun intended, the little bird, we're going to fly through this.
So this is the desire to speak as the risen head, to skip about and return.
Right.
This is down the return, right? And then it goes down to, this is where Moshe's wife, a bird.
Right.
And now this is part of the Hopi dream. Is like when they first started it, they're talking about
the fruit that will be revealed.
The fruit will be revealed. That the bird initiated the journey. That again, but we need to see what the bird ends up at. So this is to encircle a cow, and it roots out the same spelling. The desire of the Pei Tov.
Right, because Zadi has to do with desire and a journey.
Hunt, chase, seek. The mouth that speaks the covenant of love as one, fully encircled as the chieftain of the circle. You are now Todah Rabbah. You have been filled up as grace. You are now the intention. You journeyed well as the bear. You are now the bear. And so this roots down to really the little bird. And it told me the prophecy of the Hopi, with the fullness of gratitude, I respond is the answer. And it ends up at to be, the last part of it is, you must be completely emptied. You must lay waste to everything that is not. You must build yourself to the teachings of light to be compressed. And in the compressing, Mitzrayim will squeeze out everything that is not, the world.
Mitzrayim is the Hebrew word for Egypt.
And its purpose, the world is purposed to produce a path or a path. It will either draw you in or it will spit you out, solely dependent on the frequency of desire that's within you. And so this, we're moving through this, but again, Numbers 2:22.
Yeah, well, it has the Aleph Tav in there.
It does.
The first and the last, the beginning in.
Completed.
Those who complete the journey, who grasp a hold of the power of the staff of authority.
The devastator is coming, but it's not what we think.
No, because it's the inside that instructs you in order to compress light and find the narrow path between light and dark in the circle of time.
Self-adjudication produces innocence reward. So this is
the son of
Ben. And Ben means the same word for grace and mercy, gratitude, filling full and whole. And we're not going to get to it because I want you now to go into yours, what the Spirit told you when I shared with you the story.
I was shocked when I saw this. So Ken comes in and we're talking about this, and I'm going to try to do it quickly. Although for some of you who have gone through verses with me word by word, you can see that sometimes verses take like an hour and a half to dig out because there's so much meat in there. But I'll do a skim on it. And then I know you guys have had questions, and it's so hard for me when we're looking at the screen because I can't see your comments when I do a screen share. So I'm hoping that if you actually have questions that did not get answered in this, when the video is done, please type them in the comment section and I will get back to you and answer them. And if we have to do a quick live stream to explain it to you so it doesn't take me an hour to type a response, I will do that. But right now I want to take you into the verse that has that the Spirit brought to me this morning when Ken was sharing some of these things with me about the little bird and whatnot. I am going to take you into the New Testament, and we are going to go into Romans 8:19. And you guys will know this in English, especially if a lot of you are with the King James Version. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. Or instead of creature, in English, in through another translation, for the whole creation hopeth and waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of Eloah. Eloah is the New Testament word for God, and it is chock full of information.
No, and even in that, though, creation is seeking wholeness.
Yes.
And wholeness is the same as wellness. It is good medicine. It is, we are the cure, we're the answer. So we read it a certain way, but when you go into it, it's going like, creation is seeking wholeness. Todah Rabbah.
To be manifested through us.
Us.
Through us. Internally, so that we can then create the reality externally, getting out of the dream into the full awakened consciousness of the Christ anointing, the Mashiach.
Yes.
So, well, good. We're going to go over one of your favorite verses, Rachel. That's awesome. So we're going to do this. And what's going to be exciting for that is that we're going to be looking at it through Aramaic. So Hebrew, Aramaic are sister languages, but they're meant to be unified. They were divided because one teaches the divine masculine, the other one teaches the divine feminine, and they are meant to come together.
As we already stated.
Yeah. So I'm just bringing that forward because some of you guys who are listening to us are new to our channel. So let's go into this verse, and I'm just going to highlight some things on it. I'm not going to do an exhaustive one, because we have already been exhausting you guys at 1 hour and 44 minutes right now, and coming upon 44 seconds. That is not a coincidence that we're going into this verse at this time. So with the New Testament Peshitta, let's take a look, and I'm going to go through some of these letters for you, words, and why I got so excited this morning when the Father brought this to me. Oh, come on. Ah. Where'd you go?
I think you passed it.
Did I? I was trying to make it small or bigger for you guys, but I got lost on there.
Ooh.
Get my numbers. Wasn't it 813? Hello. They're the sons of God. Oh my goodness. This, I actually have gone through a lot of this chapter already, and I tell you, it would be worthy to go through this whole thing, but we aren't going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to leave it right here. So if you guys got a small, you're on your cell phone, just enlarge it, because otherwise I'm going to get messed up again. So all of creation. Now, I freaked out when I saw this first section, and I'm going to just share my interpretation with you from what I see. This is the word for creation. This actually connects us to Bereshit, in the beginning created. But look at this, you guys. This word is the covenant of one. Mm-hmm. That's Brit. So if you guys have not gone and seen the verse of Bereshit, I did this a couple weeks ago to break down. I mean, we've talked about the word Bereshit so many times, but the word Bereshit is like the whole journey. It is the gospel message, if you want to say, the gospel message in the very first word of Scripture. And it's not surprising, because it's the covenant of fire within our heart, the sacred fire that we ignite and that we guard and protect. But here's the word for covenant right here, Brit, with an aleph added. The covenant of one is built. So there's so much more. I mean, there's so many words that are contained within here. I'm not going to go into a full extraction for you. Yeah, rendered clear, but this is exactly it's. And so we have this first word here for a whole of creation. So again, when Ken was saying the wholeness and the completion and all, we have a Hebrew word or an Aramaic word, but what's hidden in here, and I am going to point this out, these two letters, you've already heard us say, grasping a hold of the staff of authority, right? That is the power of the staff of authority. But in Aramaic, this word means bride, and it also means crown. Yep. So grasping a hold of the staff of authority, the bride who will be crowned, which automatically means that you are now crowned with light, who will be revealed. Oh, just the very first word. I want to just, from another perspective, again, from as it, completion is your crowning. Fully circumnavigating is your crown. By fulfilling the prophecy, you are the crown. Exactly. And so you are revealed as completed, kalal, right? As crowned in light. You are the covenant, you are the ketubah, you are the contract, you are the law of return. Right. So then we have the next word, which is, when I look at it, it's the word ger, which means a sojourner, but it has power on the inside. It has a vision that was given within the heart, where they gathered and assembled what they needed to through their heart to raise them up to be a first fruit leader, to be a sovereign over themselves. Weaned and ripened to raise themselves in the vision, the power, means, and direction to be the standing head. And then we have the covenant of one. We already talked about that. And we have the word for hope. I think it's interesting that that's like the word saber right there. Right. Saber, think about lifesaver. And then on the outside of it, we have a mem and an aleph, which is 100-fold measurement. Mm-hmm. It's ma. So through the chaos, you get the signet ring. You are now hedged in, signet ring, wedding ring, as those who create. Rendered clear. Mm-hmm. That are heirs to the throne as royalty, who have been given the ability to see. Ra. They are the pure and innocent that have been selected. Absolutely. That because they've fed upon that which is formative. So I just gave you a lot of food in one word. This is why we get so excited about Hebrew and Aramaic, because the English doesn't take all of that. All you see is hopeth. That's it. Yet all of that was in this word. Okay. I love this. And so I don't even need to go into great detail about waiteth, because I want to get to the next word. Like I said, I didn't want to do an exhaustive one on this, but this is the word, guys. And this is where I really actually kind of freaked out this morning, this word and the next word. And I was like, Ken, you got to see this. Come over. See, you guys, this is my passion, obviously, because now I'm like, champagne, everyone. I get so excited.
The reason you're excited is because when I went up to this morning, the Spirit told me or shared with me about the journey of the bear, and it's connected to what it's connected to. So we're caretaking another house. I had to run up to get Carrie, and I was just sharing. The Spirit said this: is go on the Spirit whirlwind before you go into the straight path of the Word, and release the prophecy of the bear. And then she's like, she looks, and I just was there for a couple of minutes, and she looks at me and says, "Oh my goodness, the Spirit just said go here. Now this is why."
So here is the word Gileana. It has a lamed added in front of it. This is so amazing. Okay, settle down, Carrie. This is just so amazing. This is the word Gileana, which is the actual Aramaic word for the book of Revelation. Gileana, the revealing. So in this verse, they've translated it as manifestation. Gileana, from its root, means to uncover that which was been covered, to reveal a mystery. So we have Gileana here. So Gala would be the root. And what are we revealing? This is so amazing. Here's the twin staves. We've got both lameds, mother and father. We have the gimel right in the middle.
Maturation.
And gimel means to be weaned and ripened, to liften up, to gather and to assemble. And it's right in the middle of both staffs.
This is actually the root for Gamaliel, which would have been Paul's teacher.
Yeah, Gamaliel. So we have the twin staffs right here, one who is gathered and is standing, weaned and ripened between, off the milk, obviously, because they've been weaned, but they've also ripened. It's with fruit. And they have, I would say, it's past the budded staff of authority. These are the two, because now it's fruit.
These would be a tree.
Right. And then we move into, after Galat, now we have power of the risen flesh, not the fallen flesh, in the power of oneness. Unity, which is the Christ anointing, the Mashiach,
the one heart,
the single-hearted, because Aleph means one. But we also have the word that says, I beseech thee, we beseech thee, we pray.
That is the definition of gratitude.
Exactly.
Beseeching is the same word for I beseech you, become gracious and become gratitude as mercy. So the lamed has been added on the front of it as instruction. It means to instruct. It means to teach. It is it's the epitome of light instruction. And that has been added on the front of this Gileana. So it's the revealing of those who come with authority. Right. That have the language of light love, that are being revealed in this time. Yes. Now, here's the part where I really got excited. This is the word for sons of God. But remember, we were sharing that everything is a frequency. So we're not getting hung up about our flesh suits, because male, female, we were created. Ben actually means youth. Male, female, from its origin in Aramaic, it actually means youth. So this is youth that has been raised up and revealed as those who have been matured, weaned off the milk, that have been ripened, that have been lifted up to be revealed, as Ben also means from the word bana, to build. But you guys, look at this. It's so amazing. Here's the root, bet nun hey, and we have a vav right in the center. So this is the expansion of one who is connected in their heart as an architect, as a builder of the family, because they went through the door of their inward man to build themselves on the inside through a spiritual path that gave them a strong base to stand upon, connecting to this within their heart that will be revealed as those who have power, that open their hand to give power, because it was given to them, the authority was given to them by the work and deed of their own hand through the power of the Father. Now, this is why I freaked out. Two reasons. Vav He is the father portion of Yod He.
So Yod-He is mother, Vav-He is father. They are one. This is the connection of Vav-He. And why I freaked out is because you have to connect at the heart level to have your heart expanded to be then connected and revealed as those who are stepping in with the power of Father.
Yeah.
This is like connecting everything that Ken just shared. And here is, with the Dalet added on the front of it, here's the bear.
Dope.
Dope.
The completed bear is risen in the full expanse of Father. This was the vision's intention.
Oh, this is so amazing. So I get excited about this because Spirit will reveal things and then Word cements it. So we're making this, we're taking a heavenly concept and we're grounding it into the earth so that we can project it and manifest it forward.
This is the door of God's revelation revealed as one.
That is the word Allaha, but it does have that dalet added on front. And the root, you guys, the root of this word, and this is why it's so profound. God in Aramaic is just Aleph Lamed He.
Mm-hmm.
But what was added was the Aleph on the outside, on the Father's side, the Father's portion, the hidden esoteric teaching that is given to those who have matured. So it's the door to the strong leaders. The door is always referencing to the inside of man. So this is the door going on to the inside that brings forth oneness, unity, strong leaders who have the staff of authority that have manifested themselves as God over this matrix, who come forth with the spirit breath. They will be revealing the Aleph, the oneness, the one unity of all in their completion as once being divided, higher and lower, connecting in the middle into oneness, unity, manifesting the Christ anointing through Spirit. Okay. That was a lot, but anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys because that's such an incredible verse to see what's in there, and it connected to everything that we're saying. And this is totally connected to Todah Rabbah. This is what the manifested sons and daughters are declaring. The Todah Rabbah, that the earth and creation. So remember, it said the creation or the creature, depending on it, but it's those who are of the covenant that create. Connect to that. We are creating this. We are manifesting it. We don't have to wait for something to happen in the future. This is our now. This is right now in this moment. And if you can see it, you need to look as it instead of at it. Bring it forth so that we can then manifest it together.
Benevolence, the prefix is ben, and so we're going in, and benevolence means goodwill, which is the same word for gratitude. That is the completion of mercy and grace by definition. In ancient times, they had a bird called the Bennu bird, the Bennu bird. Ben-nu in Hebrew means completion and graciousness, and the picture of it is standing between two reeds. Its mother and father. The Bennu bird is the arisen nature of compassion and love, standing as grace's measure in the fullness of gratitude. That's the representation. This is the journey. I'm not going to go into its definition, but by definition, they call it the phoenix. Sum it up. Out of the ashes of your walk, you will arise as Bennu. No longer maleficent, no longer ill. You are made whole as arisen.
No longer disgraced, but full of grace
no
and
longer
gratitude.
Disillusioned. Anything that of a distant from, you've now closed the distance to become the intention by having the wish, desire of Hava, of Haya, is that you would become that vision. Haya, 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 Haya leads to Ahava, one love. One is expanded as one. We probably need to end it here, huh? We're at about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I want to end it with one. Because tomorrow I'm going to go over, we're probably going to do a part C to this, that we're going to go into the lineages line of the word.
Well, we're doing the meditation tomorrow.
I know, we're going to skip it. And we have an event coming up we need to, but I want to fill this up as a teaching so people can go look at the renderings as maybe a PDF to say where But it'll take you on such a tornado, on such an amazing revealing of who you are, that I just don't want to sit on it anymore. I want to share it. But I want to end with this. If tomorrow we could focus on this. As gratitude, we present ourselves as the praise offering. I'm going to repeat this. So, as humility we come. As gentleness we stand. As kindness we speak. As grace we sing aloud. As a witness we testify, as completion's answer. As peace I am centered, as one heart. Todah Rabbah, Ami. Todah Rabbah, Abi. Grandmother and grandfather for the opportunity. Todah Rabbah is a huge word. I just wish you well in your becoming whole.
I have a question. Rachel said, how do I get the book or PDF you are reading from? This is Ken's own private work. This was something that he wrote through Spirit. This is not a published book. This is not a published work. This is Ken's own worksheet files of years of ingathering through the sacred languages that he wrote himself through Spirit.
I've had this just waiting. It had to be initiated by a question. And the question then opened a waterfall, Niagara, a thunderous stream that allows us to return back to by its definition. So it's all backed by definition, because the Spirit told me back in 2006 and 2007, it says you must define everything from the original language. And I didn't even know what that meant. So everything is defined and everything is documented, and then everything is connected as a thread. And so I do comprehend that it's my revelation, but yet it is still fortified in the foundation of definition.
All tied back into the sacred languages. So this isn't necessarily something that is just coming as conjecture.
But again, it still is my grief to my gratitude.
Right.
And so to go into here, we're talking thousands of pages, and it's all rendering down now to blend, and I can pull out and I can see it now differently. Again, 360 sees all degrees if we're centered. You're able to see the resonance. This is why I said that, is like the Supreme Court sees all directions from center's perspective. It's all seeing, because it's overturned the nature of what is not to know what is. It's the tree of knowing. I will share them. I mean, I'm going to share this in Colorado, whoever wants to. It's lofty, though, and it does take your breath away.
And it does need to be guarded and protected.
It does.
So,
it's sacred.
So for those who are just wanting to be looky-loos because you're just, it sounds good. These are sacred writings that were meant to be guarded and protected, because those who were in a divided path would not know the value of what was being presented, because it was so sacred. It is a spiritual journey that is not meant to be made common.
No. Our heart is to go wherever we're called to go, to share this, to spend time one-on-one with people. That's our heart. That's carrying our heart. We're just kind of waiting for that to really expand it on its own without manipulating or touching it. But our heart is to release this, that we can really gently, intimately share with people, to know that it's okay. Like, there's hope here. There's so much hope in this message. It totally reframes. If you comprehend innocence, if you stand on innocence's foundation, and you reframe it based off of that to redefine it, then you are covered. You are now the temple in the dwelling of your own definition. So don't allow another to define, and I'm speaking to myself, your own definition needs to be your own definition. But I'm releasing from a perspective in hopes that it causes a heart to want, to seek, to wish, to desire, to chase after the intention. But that is an influence.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I don't think we have anything more else to share. That was a long sharing today, that we've already been with us for over 2 hours.
Todah Rabbah.
Todah Rabbah.
Todah Rabbah.
Being with us.
In the full definition and the frequency of its intention, that we would fully be aware that it is in the measure of the harmonious act of being completed. We meditate from that place and give gratitude to grandmother and grandfather tomorrow when we go into meditation, that we are coming from the inner sanctuary of holy. And from holy, we call on to holy as deep calls on to deep.
So I am going to create a slide, and I will post it on Facebook, of that which Ken read about the position of standing. And I will create that and put it on Facebook later today, so that you have that if you want to meditate upon that tonight or tomorrow morning before we start the meditation. And we will read it together as we gather right before we start the meditation. So it will be going live on YouTube. I'm sure it will be also live on several different Facebook pages as well. But if you want to make sure that you are connected to it, then at 8 a.m. on Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, we will begin the gathering. And at 11:11 or 8:11, depending on where you are in your time zones, we will begin the meditation, where we will be speaking and toning Todah Rabbah every 30 seconds, so that by the time we finish, we will have completed that phrase 22 times. Very specific. So 11 minutes after that hour, for 11 minutes, we will be meditating 22 times, that we will be sharing Todah Rabbah. So very specific in why we're doing this.
Projecting your reality.
Exactly. So this is what we're going into. This will be the first of it. We'll see how it works. I have a wonderful couple that will be doing some live music for us. I will get all the information of what they want to be said about themselves and their names when we do it, but they have done this before. And my friend Kendra is also going to be with us, who has put forth the beautiful flyers and whatnot. What I posted yesterday, she kind of put that together with my video. And so she will be joining us as well and broadcasting it as we come together. So I can't wait for you guys to be here. Thank you for listening to this message. I hope that it really filled your heart up with much gratitude, so that we know where we are coming from tomorrow when we all come together. And then we will continue doing this again when we get into the time of Libra, as we start meditating again with a heart of gratitude in the time of deliberation. So much love to you guys.
Much love. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Namaste.